No! Fucking glitch!
All right, welcome to the first episode of the Dragon Quest podcast. Or no, it's a Puff Puff Hour, right?
The Puff Puff Hour.
Right. Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest
Puff
podcast.
Puff.
Yes,
Not that kind of Puff Puff. I don't know what you're doing in your spare time, Dylan.
I'm your host, Caleb Craig.
Don't worry about it.
I'm your other host, Jacob Wright.
And I'm Dylan Rominger.
Yes, and we're going to review the first Dragon Quest game today.
The legendary.
Yes, the legendary Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, depending on the version you played.
Oh, yes, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So what are the history you guys have with the Dragon Quest series?
Want to go first?
I am a newcomer. This
yeah?
is my first Dragon Quest game, so I'm excited to get into it.
Awesome.
That's it.
Oh, go ahead, Jake.
You done? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of history with it.
Oh, yeah?
The only game I beat is Dragon Quest VIII. But years ago, a friend of mine was playing. I didn't know this at the time because the Game Boy cartridge had the sticker just scratched off it.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Oh, this game's kind of like Final Fantasy." Played it, nothing like Final Fantasy, but it's Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember the Joker series.
What I found cool and unique about it was this was right around when Red and Blue Pokemon came out. And I thought it kind of lacked a little bit of depth. Red and Blue did. Mm-hmm. And so what I found cool was how you're actually upgrading each of these monsters and you could have them breed. And so
cool.
It'll increase the threshold. So like you get like a creature to strength 20 and it'll be its max. But if you actually have an egg with somebody else, when that creature gets leveled up, its threshold will go to 25 strength. And I thought that kind of depth in a Game Boy game was pretty cool. So I don't recall if I beat that or not, but I did enjoy it. And the main reason why I haven't played any other Dragon Quest games is because its lack of localization here in the U.S.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Yeah. Thankfully, over the years, Enix has been smart in putting it all on the 3DS, DS.
Yeah, it makes it easier for us anyway.
First 6 games, including, and then 8 as well, on Android and iOS too, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. They've been very good about that now. Took them long enough, but...
Yeah, for myself, I've just played 8 when it came out. I saw that it was Akira Toriyama style. It was like before 12 came out, I saw it at the store and I was like, oh man, I grew up on like Dragon Ball Z. So I was like, oh, this is the shit right there. So I picked it up. 8 is amazing. I played it a lot. And then, just recently I played the first Dragon Quest, and then beat it again for this, review. So like, outside of that, I haven't really had too many things. I've seen the other Dragon Quest games, but I've never really like got a chance to play them. I played a little bit of Dragon Quest Builders recently, and I also have Dragon Quest Heroes, that first one that I played a little bit of.
You mean
as
Dynasty
well.
Warriors?
Yeah, it's essentially Dynasty Warriors. It's a whatever those style game is called, like Muso or something like that.
I have no idea.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, like that. I've played a couple of those games, but that's...
Before we get any further, how much of a disgrace is it to put the 12 demo in front of Dragon Quest VIII?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of brutal.
That is. When I got my copy, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like, play the 12 demo before you play Dragon Quest VIII.
Did it help the sales, though?
For 12?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Possibly.
Like, Dragon Quest
I
is...
think it helped Dragon Quest VIII sells.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, it might have helped Dragon Quest, but as far as Final Fantasy, I don't think it boosted it. Yeah. So, you got some stuff on the game?
No, I think we should discuss why this is called the Puff Puff Hour.
Oh, the Puff Puff Hour, yes.
you want
Okay,
to-
so in every single Dragon Quest game, at least like the main series, there's a girl you can find on occasion called like the Puff Puff Girl, who you can like either pay or she'll do it for free depending on the game, where she gives you a Puff Puff. And that's essentially where like you get, depending on the game too, because it like is kind of weird on the version. Like basically a puff puff is where she like sticks your face between her boobs and kind of like squishes them against your face.
So I didn't know this, and I looked it up at work when you guys told me. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I was very shocked at what I found.
About the puff puffs?
Yeah, about the
Did
puff
we not
puff.
tell you what that was before this?
No, I had to look it up.
Oh man.
And I was like,
Was this at your works?
at my work.
Yes.
Thankfully, no one saw.
Honestly, I had to look it up too, like a while back. I was like, "What the heck is a puff puff?"
It's a pufu in Japanese,
Yeah.
and it basically means rubbing your breasts across somebody's face. Kind of
Yeah.
like
Well, the more you know.
the motorboat game.
Yeah. But yeah, like in certain games, it like changes. Like in Dragon Quest VIII, she puts like a blindfold on your character.
Hey, don't spoil it for him.
Hey, man.
It's not really a spoiler. And then
It's one of the best parts.
nah, dude, it's fine. Like basically, they like blindfold the character, and then she's like puff 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 puff, and then it like fades from the blackout that it has when she's like puff puffing you, and she's like holding two slimes against your face. So that was a good
beautiful.
comedy bit in there, yeah.
Yep. And so I basically thought it's either that or slime. And Puff Puff Hour's got this innuendo to it. So,
The slime hour.
Yeah, something like that.
slime will be involved.
A lot of slimes. There's a variety of slimes.
Yep.
Yeah. From the first game, I've seen it.
Slime, she slime, heel slime,
Metal slime.
metal slime, king slime.
There's orange, but I don't know
No,
if
that was
that's
the
in,
she
like-
slime, yeah.
Yeah.
A ton of slimes.
Slimy.
Oh, yes. With Puff Puffs, we'd all be slimy. That's what I was going for. Do we want to get into development?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
All right. Fujiyori and his team of Chunsoft began developing Dragon Quest in 1985. It was published by Enix in Japan and Nintendo in the US. Over the years, they have done numerous ports to the MSX and the SNES and the 25th anniversary on the Wii. But, of course,
yeah.
Japan only got that. They remade it a couple times for the Game Boy and the version me and Caleb Craig played.
Yeah,
Android.
the mobile version, yeah. And then the Game Boy one was Dragon Warrior, right?
I
And they
believe
brought
so.
over to
It
the
still had
US,
that
yeah.
name.
Yeah, I think so.
What version did you play, Dylan?
I played the NES version.
OG.
Oh, you went
Old
classic.
school. Yeah.
Original gangster. The original idea of Dragon Quest / Warrior, I gotta quit doing that, came during the development of Portapoya, which I have not seen this game nor played it. But apparently it's Hori's first game that he ever did.
Oh, okay.
But Hori and Koichi Nagamura came across the RPG Wizardry at a Macworld conference and expo. While it had some influence on Portapoya's dungeon crawl segments, Hori liked the game's design and visuals. He wanted to create a game similar to Wizardry to expose the mainly Western exclusive RPG genre to Japan, and to expand the genre past computer enthusiasts.
Yeah, I had seen that they had like some influence from Wizardry and then the Ultima series that had barely came before.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, Hori also cited Ultima as an inspiration for Dragon Quest gameplay. To create Dragon Quest, the gameplay needed to be simplified, according to Hori, and quote, "There was no keyboard and the system was much simpler, using just a game controller, but I still thought that it would be really exciting for a player to play as their alter ego in the game. I personally was playing Wizardry in Ultima at the time, and I really enjoyed seeing my own self in the game." In order to create an RPG that would appeal to a wide audience unfamiliar with the genre, the video games in general, Hori wanted to create a new kind of RPG that did not rely on previous experience with the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop RPG. That did not require hundreds and hundreds of hours of role fighting and could appeal to any type of gamer. I guess 10 hours of grinding is better than 100 hours of grinding.
That is
true.
Yeah.
To accomplish this, he needed to simplify the system and have players associate themselves with the hero. Thus, as the game progressed, the hero would become stronger. In contrast to games like Super Mario Bros., where the character Mario did not become progressively more powerful during the game.
Yeah, it gets way stronger at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's true too.
There's some scaling issues, I will say.
We'll get into that, though, at a later time.
He wanted to build on Portapoia and place a greater emphasis on storytelling and emotional involvement. He developed a coming-of-age tale that audiences could relate to and make use of RPG level-building gameplay as a way to represent this.
Alright.
Hori believed that the Famicom was the ideal platform because, unlike arcade games, players would not worry about spending money if they got a game over. Which is very smart.
And they will get game overs.
There's no
based
game
on
overs.
my experience.
You got a game over?
Not a game over, but like I died a lot.
Oh, yeah, I totally died a lot, too.
Yeah.
And they can continue playing where they left off. Whenever the player loses a battle, they would immediately be restored to a previous save point rather than the game's ending and return to the main menu.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's definitely something that I would have a new RPG player play, is something of the Dragon Quest series, because all of them do that.
I think I'd agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a portion of your gold, and they're like ticked at you.
What you need.
It's not half in the later games, I don't think. Or at least not for 8, right?
It's half.
Is it half?
It is half.
Oh, okay.
I think they've kept that element. Well, I can't say shit. Never mind.
we haven't played too many, so we can't say. But
Yeah.
we will.
Oh yes. All right, where were we? He also apparently wanted to include multiple playable characters, but was forced to use only one due to memory constraints.
Mm-hmm.
Hori knew that RPGs had a steeper learning curve than other video games at the time, and to compensate for this, he quickly implemented quick level ups at the start of the game and gave players a clear final goal that is visible from the world's map starting point, the Dragon Lord's castle.
I like that it's really close to where you start.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's simple, goal-oriented. He also provided a series of smaller scenarios in order to build up the player's strength to achieve the final objective. He created an open world which is not blocked physically in any way except by monsters that can easily kill unprepared players.
That is very true.
Hori used bridges to signify changes in difficulty and implemented a level random initial stats.
Huh. I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yes. It is a random number generator depending on the first 4 letters of your name.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I
more
did
complex
remember hearing something like
than I
that.
thought.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. It's a cool feature.
I remember hearing something like if you named your character Erdrick, like in the main character, like the hero's name from the past, then you like get the most stat bonuses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what I heard. I
Next
don't know
playthrough.
if it's.
Gonna have to.
We'll have to look at it, the exact stats, but
Right.
Yeah, I might do it again.
To make the game appeal to a larger audience, manga artist and creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama,
Yeah.
was hired to produce the artwork. As with Dragon Ball, Toriyama's artwork features characters whose strength and cunning transcend generations, but also includes humorous elements such as a chibi style.
It's true.
Koichi Sugiyama, the game's music composer, hopefully I said that right, sought Enix out. Sugiyama sent a PC Games feedback questionnaire to Enix. He was already a well-known television composer, and upon seeing Sugiyama's feedback, Fukushimi contacted him to confirm that he was the Sugiyama from television. Which is, apparently he was a composer before even Dragon Quest. I didn't know that. That he actually did TV work. But apparently, Fukushima asked Sugiyama to compose a score for Dragon Quest, and it took him 5 minutes to compare that original opening thing, which has stayed throughout the whole series.
Yeah, that's it's an awesome theme too. I
It
really
is.
like it.
And that's pretty funny to contrast him with Naboo, whose FF interlude apparently took him 5 minutes too.
Wow.
It's weird. It's a weird contrast that I'm thinking. Like, but they're both great. So, yeah. He noted the difficulty in adding a personal touch to the short jingles, but that the past experience of creating music for television commercials helped. He claimed that you only have about 3 to 5 seconds to catch the audience's attention through music. Why he started the opening theme the way he did.
That's interesting.
All right. Now ready for the localization.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot for this.
Well, it's summed down. Coverage of Dragon Quest North American localization first appeared in Nintendo Fun Club News. Who remembers that?
Nobody.
I don't. Predates me.
Yeah. Winter 1988 issue where the title changed to Dragon Warrior. The title was changed to avoid infringing on the trademark to the pen and paper RPG Dragon Quest.
Nice.
And it screwed him for like 15 years. It was released in North America. I already went over that. In August 1989, months before the Japanese release of Dragon Quest IV.
Oh, what?
That is Final Fantasy levels of taking
Release?
time.
Yeah, that's sick.
Because it was released.
That was on the NES, right?
Yes.
The release. Okay.
So up till 4 is on the NES.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
Cool. So, because the game was released in North America nearly 3 years after the original, the graphics were improved. I looked this up. It's a lot better.
Well, I would imagine.
Yeah. And instead of lengthy passwords, apparently the Japan version had passwords, they had a battery-backed RAM inside of Nintendo cartridges in order to save the game.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like the first Legend of Zelda game was a few months before it, and it was one of the first games that used the battery-operated save, so they didn't have to use the password save system anymore. And this was just like a few months after, so they implemented that when it came to the US. I remember reading that. It was awesome.
Toriyama's artwork in the instruction booklets was also changed to reflect more of a traditional tone as found in popular American RPGs. So, do you have the art book, Dylan?
I don't have the art.
That would be awesome.
That would be
I'd
awesome.
like to see that. Spells were given self-explanatory one-word titles instead of the made-up words of the Japanese version. Isn't it like Heal More is the name of one of the spells?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we
Heal
don't have
More?
that, but yeah.
Yeah, heal more
Really?
and hurt
Really?
more.
And Hurt More, yeah.
Is that the fire one?
Yeah.
This
Wow.
is...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In our version, it's like heal and sizz and
It's
fizzle and
proper.
Yeah.
That's not as fun.
No.
Here's the greatest part, right? Localizations were renamed and dialogue was rewritten from its whimsical style comparable to Dragon Ball to a style inspired by Elizabethan English.
Oh yeah,
With
that's
sentences such as "thy hit points have decreased by 1."
dude. Oh man, one of my favorites of my favorite lines that comes from this is like when you buy stuff from the shopkeepers and they're like, "Which of our fine items doth tickleth thy fancy?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's like the greatest thing ever." They say that like every time.
It's great. In his voice.
Oh
That's what it
yeah.
does. In late 1990, Nintendo Power gave free copies of Dragon Warrior to subscribers, including a 64-page Explorer's Handbook. There was a full walkthrough of the game and additional backstory, not mentioned in the original instruction booklet.
Wow.
I mean, what is that? Come on. That's messed up.
A 64-page booklet
Yeah.
for like as the guide for this game.
Yeah, it's basically a walkthrough for the whole... It's a Brady Games guide, basically.
Wow.
So is it like mostly art? The game wasn't that long.
Right? In the original cost of the game was approximately $50 US.
I spent $3 on it.
Same.
I saved
spent
some.
10.
I saved some money. You know, yeah.
Yeah, it's mobile.
It's not 60 or 50.
Or 10. Physical copy. That's what I went for.
You have like the actual NES copy though, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty sweet. It was only $10.
Yeah, $10. eBay.
Gotta check those eBays, people.
I kind of want that now.
You should.
I want that
You
real
should check
bad.
that out. Yes.
I want that hurt more and heal more.
No, we need that eBay sponsorship for the show. There you go. Plug in the eBay.
Brought to you by eBay.
Yeah, Dragon Quest
Podcast.
But apparently they overproduced like a couple million copies of NES here in the United States, and it wasn't selling. So that's why they started giving away in Nintendo Power. And apparently what
they
happened
gave it away in Nintendo Power.
Yes.
Wow.
And so
sweet
people were just renewing for like $30 for the year and getting a copy of the game instead of paying $50 for it when it came out.
Okay.
And so
I would do that too.
Yeah, and apparently that's what led to some of the success of the series in the Western market.
Well, that's good. You gotta promote it some way.
It's kind of sad, though.
Yeah. Well, at least it got some traction instead of being like bombing in the first game.
True.
Traction that comes to a halt later on, but
Yeah, that's true.
and that pretty much sums up the long development of this thing.
Wow.
Hori seems to be one of the originators of homemade RPG. Like even
Yeah, they cite him and Dragon Quest as being like the template for most Japanese RPGs, like even now
on home consoles.
So
yeah.
it's like a very important old RPG.
It's got legendary OG status.
Yeah, it's the father of Final Fantasy, basically. It's like the exact same game.
In comparative to, basically, Sakaguchi should be looking at Hori, and Hori should reply back with, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? You stole this shit from me."
This is basically true.
Because it's like 3-4 years difference, because apparently by the time FF1 came out, it was like Dragon Quest 3, so...
Wow.
Well, Dragon Quest 2 is already basically Final Fantasy 1.
It is.
So,
But that'll be for another review.
okay, yep.
Yeah, that sums up development, so...
All right, you want to get into the story for Dragon Quest? All right, so
There's a story?
there is basically a story. The story is basically, go rescue the princess, kill the Dragon King, and then get the Orb of Light. That's essentially, but it's also got like Legend of Zelda type stuff where you got to go get like certain items in order to kind of progress in the game, like the fairy flute and the staff of rain and the rainbow teardrop or whatever to like create the bridge to like go to the Dragon King's castle. And so basically the entire game is just basically going around trying to find these items. The first like cave you go into basically gives you a description of what you need to do from Erdrick, the hero that you're descended from.
A rainbow bridge, people. You heard it from right here.
Yep, it was totally a rainbow bridge. Yep. So you go and rescue the princess from the dragon after the Dragon King had her kidnapped. And then the hero realizes that the only way to keep the kingdom safe is to actually go and defeat the Dragon King. So it goes and gets all the rest of the items, crosses the bridge, and then fights the Dragon King. And then at the end, it gives you the choice to either join the Dragon King or fight him. Did you guys choose to like join the Dragon King at all?
Not initially.
Oh, okay, because like in the older versions of the game, I read that if you chose to join the Dragon King, it would like freeze your game and then delete all your saves.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah. So you're lucky.
I'm gonna have to try it now.
You're lucky that you didn't make the poor choice of becoming evil.
Yeah, you didn't cop out and you beat it legit.
I did.
Good.
I did that.
And apparently
Thankfully.
in the Game Boy Color version, another scene happens.
Oh yeah, for the ending.
Yeah, for the ending.
Oh yes, like when if you try to choose to become evil at the end of the game, like he wakes up like it's a dream or something instead of like the game freezing and then freaking out.
Sounds like a retcon to me.
It's very much a retcon. So don't choose evil because it'll be an
evil
infinite
is
loop.
bad.
Infinite loop of bad dreams.
Yep.
All right. So you want to talk about the gameplay then?
No, what do we think of the story?
Well, the story is great. I like the simple story of going to rescue the princess who's super hot for you. Like the second you rescue her, she's like she wants the hero D, you know.
You literally have to carry her out.
Yeah, you carry her out, which is awesome, and then you when you beat the Dragon King, you go back and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go find my own kingdom. And then he picks up the princess and then just carries her across the world. And it's the greatest scene I've ever seen.
It does give you a choice though. You can't say no.
You can say no?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it actually, there's 4 different endings in a way.
Oh, really?
Because you got yes and no for the Dragon Lord and then yes and no to her.
I totally chose
So
yes.
I went back there and I
wanted
tried
to
'em.
carry the princess across the world because I did it last time. And I was like,
But you
yes.
got to get it right. She wanteth thy D. You
Yeah.
got to get the
She
Elizabeth
wanted
in.
it bad.
Yes. Even the, fairy flute, you get an item later on where you have to check in with the king because you don't formally know how much experience it takes to get another level.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to talk to the king.
constantly go back to the castle and talk to the king
Right.
so you can find out how much you need to level up.
Or you
Yeah.
can die.
Or you can
Or you
die
can just
and
go
then
die.
he'll just get really pissed off. He'll be like, what the shit? Why'd you die?
Or in our version, there's an item where you actually contact the princess after you find her.
Oh, yeah.
And
she
one
does
of
give
the
you that.
lines is I yearn for thee.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm
Dude,
like,
I
whoa!
I love that princess, man. Gwaylin, I think is her name or something like that. It's great.
Yes.
She wants the hero, and she gets the hero.
Yeah.
The story is great. I love it. I love the simpleness of the story. Going to beat the Dragon King. It's awesome. It has a classic fairy tale type feel to it.
Yep.
I really enjoy that about the first Dragon Quest.
Yep.
It's definitely good for an NES game.
Yeah, just for an NES game.
89.
All right, what do you think about the story, Dylan?
It's okay. I'm not
Just
a
okay?
huge fan of it. It's too simple for my liking, but
And yeah, you love Legend of Zelda, which is the same story.
it is the same story.
It's the exact same, dude. I'm pretty sure later Legend of Zelda's rip off Dragon Quest.
Well, Zelda does come out first.
The
if you want
first
to go there.
one, but the first one, it's just you get weapons. There's no gathering of the ruby crystal, the sapphire one, to get the dragon, to get the master sword to fight the bad guy.
I think the
there's no-
journey's better.
It's none of that.
I just enjoy the journey more.
The guy
That's
who
what it comes down to.
don't stay
Just
alone.
enjoy
He's
the
a real
journey
important
more.
character.
Yeah.
Don't go out alone. Use this.
Yeah. Well, I'll go out alone and I'll learn spells. So screw you. What do you think about the story, Jake?
I got to ditto everything you said, Caleb Craig.
Yeah.
I like its simplicity, and it's great for its time. And I got to add a couple things to it.
Oh yeah, like what?
Is the fact that there's actually kind of twist. There's a twist halfway through the game. Because you think it's a simple save the princess and be done.
Well,
But as
that's
soon as you
essentially
actually
what it
save the
is.
princess from the green dragon, you bring her back, and then you actually realize, oh, I actually have to take out this guy as well.
Yeah.
Kind of don't see that coming.
Yeah,
So
because
it
the main
is-
quest that you're given is to go get the princess, and she's
Yeah.
only halfway through the game. And then he's like, oh, you know what? In order to actually protect the kingdom from evil, I have to go and defeat the Dragon King.
Right. So it's a plot
Yeah.
twist.
It is.
And for an 89 game, that's good.
It's pretty sweet.
And so also, this kind of meshes in with gameplay as well. But if you didn't notice that instead of just pushing you forward to the next thing you were doing, it actually gave backstory with each character you were talking to. Okay, you have to go here, but kind of here's the reason why. So it's both pushing you forward to what you need to do next and giving you lore.
Yeah, it's not just telling you, hey, you need to go do this.
You're on rails. Go forth, thy
Yeah.
son. No, it tells you, you got to build the Rainbow Bridge because
The bridge is destroyed, and that's the only way that the bridge can be fixed is to use the rainbow tier.
right.
Yeah, that's...
And so it actually pushes both the same time, both gameplay and story, and that's why I think it works a lot better than probably some Final Fantasies. That is just push you along to...
Just for the sake of pushing
if the
you
first
along.
person tells you what you got to do, then you just leave the town and you want to go somewhere else. And you don't... There's a big emphasis on exploration in this.
Oh, yeah, there definitely is, yeah.
Because it's open world, you got to actually figure out what you got to do next.
Yeah, and then you can, for our version, you can just, see the world map, and it tells you, every spot that you can go. And tells you, whether it's a cave by, a purple light, or if it's a town by, an orange one. And you can see the entirety of the world map, so you can kind of know where you're supposed to go.
I had
Or
to
at
talk
least
to
guess.
everybody
Oh,
to
you
know
had
where to go.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was kind of a pain, if I'm being honest.
It's pretty archaic.
I would imagine
Yes.
for the NES version, yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the story.
All right. What do you guys think about the gameplay?
I thought it was all right.
Yeah,
If I had to sum it up in one word.
all right.
Just all right.
It's only okay.
Well, that's how I feel about it. It's like,
whatever.
if I had to sum it up in one word, though, I would sum it up as grind fest.
Oh,
It is.
dude, it's a massive grind fest.
Enjoy
Definitely.
the grind.
Yeah.
It's an awesome grind fest, I think, though. Especially since
For ours.
Well, yeah, especially for ours because we played it on
Android.
mobile, so it works as a mobile game just because how grindy it is. But for even though you played it on the NES, I still think it kind of works because even if you happen to die, it doesn't take away your experience, the points that you got from whatever you killed on your way to wherever you were.
That
it
I
just
like.
it just takes away your gold, which is also pretty brutal.
That
but,
I don't like.
But I mean, instead of getting a game over and losing everything, it's I would say
Hours
that's,
upon hours of a save.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could if you know you're gonna die, then it's fine because you can just fight it out because you can't go back.
But gold is extremely essential.
Yeah, it is. It is.
If you don't have gold, this raw stats aren't going to help you. You need to buy equipment.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
basically.
Did they have the Chimera wings in the first game
No.
where you
we
teleport
got
back
in my
to the
version.
castle?
No.
Okay, because that was really useful.
I'm sure it was.
If we thought we were gonna die, just teleport back to the castle and it's fine.
He's got
good.
NES hard.
Well,
we went
yeah.
noob.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
I feel bad now that
It's
we
called-
had such an easy version.
There's a spell you can use. It's called Return that takes you back to the castle.
Oh yeah, oh, did
Evac
you-
for us.
Yeah.
This
Evac
is
for
so
you guys.
simple.
Yeah, we just also had the
Turn
item.
to sender.
Yeah, I enjoy the grind of Dragon Quest One. When you level up, it definitely feels better because you get a crap ton of stat points per level because the max level is only 30.
Yeah.
So every time I would level up, I'd get 5 stat points into my strength, which is the equivalent of upgrading to a new weapon.
You would get 5 every time?
Yeah, dude, I got 5 every time. It was awesome.
What was your
Sometime-
name?
Mine was random.
I just went with Erdrick.
You just went with Eldrick?
Yeah.
That's the key.
I went with
Yeah,
my name.
I put in Craig. I didn't get that many stat boosts.
Yeah, I just went with Erdrick, and I was getting 5 a lot of the time. I think I got 3 or 4 a couple times, but most of the time was 5, which was awesome because whenever you upgrade, when you go to a new town, which is usually just the next town and wherever you're going, if they happen to have a new weapon, it's only a 5-point upgrade from the weapon you were using before. So basically, leveling up and getting a 5 stat point is the same as getting a new weapon, which is awesome. Because in other games, like Final Fantasy, for instance, if you level up, you're only going to get 1 or 2, 3 at the most if you're lucky in the
3
level up.
HP.
Yeah, 3 HP. Yeah, it's is brutal, and like I was getting like MP like crazy in the Dragon Warrior, just like or Dragon Quest, because like you'd get spells as well when you level up. You get heal, and then you get Sizz, like the flame spell that does damage to them, which is awesome and really useful for certain enemies, because like in the very beginning, your strength your like just regular attacking doesn't do nearly as much as that spell. Like you'll hit for like 9, and then that spell will do like 20 to him, and it's like, yeah, you feel like really powerful when you first get that spell, and it's great.
You're a one-man army that somehow you're a magician and a warrior.
Oh, I know. He's a freak. Especially since like in other games, like they break it up into like multiple people, where like one person's a mage and another person's a warrior, but you're all you need.
Yeah.
But it adds like a lot of strategy kind of too, because like every creature, like you said for like development and stuff, like every creature has the ability to destroy you if you're not prepared, because like they can hit really hard. Like you only have early on, you'll probably have like around like level 11, you'll have like 55 HP, and you'll encounter enemies that'll do like 12 to 18 damage per attack,
which is brutal.
Which is really brutal, because that's a huge chunk of your health, especially if like they're strong enough where they can withstand 1 or 2 of your hits. And that's real brutal, because then you have to use like a healing potion, or you have to use the heal spell. Otherwise, you're gonna get boned by just like a regular enemy.
Yeah, that was definitely the spell I used the most.
Was heal? Yeah, I would imagine so. Early on, I think I used Sizz a little more, and I got some medical herbs to like heal me. But like later, it was definitely a combination of using the herbs and heal.
Hysteria.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jake?
I happen to like the gameplay a lot. It's very solid. A little archaic, but I don't mind the grind fest as well, and it's probably because the version that I played.
Yeah, the mobile version.
So it makes it very convenient that I could go cook, clean, go slide down the slide with my nephew, and just keep tapping my phone to grind. Grind, grind, grind. So I didn't mind it, but I could see standing in front of a screen, hearing the same battle theme, which I heard on NES, for 8 hours is like drilling through your skull.
Yeah, and most of the gameplay is just grinding too, so...
It's about 90% of the game.
What level did you end up being when you beat the game?
I was level 20.
19.
I was about level 18 when I beat it. So that seems like the general area for where you should be.
Yeah.
But like having a max of level 30, I wonder how strong you would be at level 30 and just like take out everything.
Who would grind that?
That's like an extra 4 hours.
Dude,
of
I don't
grinding.
know, but I want to try it one day. I just want to be able to like one-shot a green dragon.
Well, let me know how that goes.
I feel like that would be possible. Especially if you're getting like 5 boosted attack points every single level.
Yeah.
And where like you beat the game at like level 18. So you got 12 more levels. So that's like 60 more points you're putting into that strength. I want to be able to one-shot like everything.
Wow.
Even those golems. Did they have the gold golems in your version?
Yeah, they give you more gold.
Yeah, they give you like no XP, but a crap ton of gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those guys were really useful. I like found an area where they would spawn a lot, and I just like went over that area just like a ton of times to grind out gold.
In the middle of the game, that was really useful.
Yeah, because like that full plate mail I wanted early on, it was like 3,000 gold, and I was like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get this. Like, cause like everything else only gives you like maybe 20 at most around that area, and then you find the gold golems, and then it's like 650, and I was like, yes,
You were getting that much?
yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
How much
I was
were you
getting like
getting?
200.
Oh man, dude, that would be extra brutal. Like our game
It
is
is.
way more forgiving.
Yes, he's
I
got
guess
nerfed.
I guess if you play this game, play it on mobile because it's way easier. Oh, I do want to have a copy of that NES version though. But yeah, like I think the hardest enemy I encountered aside from like the actual boss was that first green dragon.
Really?
Yeah, because like you have like I feel like you have to be level 13 in order to fight that dragon because he can do like 24 damage in one hit.
That was a tough fight right
Yeah.
before the princess.
Yeah, like halfway through because like he can hit real hard.
Yeah.
And then he becomes like a normal enemy after that. Just
I
like he
noticed
just
that.
chills in the castle. And
I
it's
thought
like,
that was cool. I thought that was a cool aspect.
Yeah,
of the
it was
gameplay.
cool, but it's like that dude's like the boss of like halfway through. Like
Yeah.
there's no bosses in this game except for basically the Dragon King. And then I guess that golem you fight when you use the fairy flute.
Yes.
But like
You can
there's-
get fucked if you actually don't know what you're doing with that.
yeah, there's like 3 bosses and then there's just like normal enemies.
Did you guys run into the blue dragons?
Yeah,
Yes.
the blue dragons are way bigger dicks than the green dragon.
Yeah, I would always run away.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I fought a couple of them just because like I would gain half a level occasionally from just killing them because they were crazy. They give you a crap ton of XP.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think I went into the castle around level 15, and then killing some of those blue dragons got me up to 18.
Wow.
Yeah, so I definitely got some XP off of those dudes. To
Yeah,
like, beat the
I had to
Dragon
level
King.
up outside of the castle. It was too much for me.
Dude, the castle is extra brutal, but like in my playthrough, I didn't have a huge encounter rate for some reason. I did before when I played it like a year or two ago, but like the encounter rate was like way less. This
What
time.
did you play it on before, though? Was it mobile?
Just my mobile version. I just played it like before.
It's the
I wonder-
Erdrick name.
the Erdrick.
It's
Yeah, dude,
gotta
I
be.
didn't use the Erdrick name last time.
There you
so
go.
dude,
it's more than
using-
just the stats.
Using Erdrick is like the greatest choice I ever made. Apparently.
It'll help with the RNG, people. Use it in speed runs. It will help with the RNG.
Yeah. You get more stat points. There's like less encounters in the castle.
Yep. How about that ending boss with Dragon Lord?
The Dragon Lord? Oh, the Dragon Lord is a sweet fight. And
It
like
is.
he's a sorcerer at first, and then you like get him like halfway, and then he like turns into a dragon.
Right,
Which
yeah.
is awesome.
In retrospect, back then, imagine the 2-part boss fight. That would have been cool. Like, it's done. And then he flips to a second form.
You know, I kind of want to look now and see if that was like the first multi-part boss fight.
Probably for a console RPG, yes.
Yeah,
but
because, like,
from
I
Ultima would have been before. I guarantee Ultima would have. on
Ultima, you
PC.
think Ultima had more?
I believe it did it first.
Okay, because like that's a early example of like a multi-part boss fight. 1986.
89. Oh, wait, no, you're right. It's 86.
Yeah, it was
I'm
86. That's like crazy, man. Did you have that part where he turned into a dragon, or am I just crazy and that was only
Yeah, I did, but it
later
was like
versions?
2 hits before he transformed. So
Oh, really?
It wasn't a big
it was
deal.
a more in-depth fight, I think, for us.
Yeah, we
at
got,
least for
we
me,
got
like,
HP
he got- it was-
caps up.
Yeah, he had more health, so I had to fight him a lot longer.
it was still a brutal fight, though.
Oh yeah, dude. He would cast like the flame spell on us, and it would chunk me, dude. I had to heal constantly, and in that boss fight, it was crazy.
So like right before the end boss, I got blocked by one of the enemies, so I couldn't escape, and I had to heal, and it almost prevented me from not beating the last boss.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got down to like 5 HP,
Oh, jeez.
and I killed him.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Yes.
That's
Last hurrah.
good. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, like I think there was your first playthrough I went through, and there was like a chest in the castle that gave me like a belt.
Oh,
And
yeah.
because like there's just some items that you can pick up and then equip. And I was like, oh, cool. I wonder if this is going to do anything for me. So I like equipped it. And then it was like, you have equipped like a cursed belt and now you can't save. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Cause like, I was still pretty underleveled for the fight against the boss. And I was like, there's no way I could do this right now.
did you have to go talk to that old dude to get it removed?
Yeah, dude, I had to. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. And I forgot about that dude.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
So that first playthrough, I had to like level grind and then beat him with that thing equipped because I forgot and I like couldn't save. So I was like, I have to do this now.
Yep.
Otherwise,
I got cursed by the belt, but I remembered and went back and got myself healed before
I avoided
taking
it,
them out.
thankfully.
Yeah,
Yours told you it was a cursed belt.
yeah, you're just like, it's
Like,
a cursed
oh, this
belt.
isn't
Like,
obvious.
yeah, the dude ours is just like, it's a belt. It's a great
just a
belt. Yeah. It's like, oh.
That makes it a
Chuck
bit
Norris's
easier.
belt. Please equip
Well,
it.
plus because it was in the final area, I was like, oh, this is going to be a sweet item
It's
to
OG,
equip.
man.
Yeah.
Come
There
on.
were two in my game.
And then there were two what?
Two curse belts.
items?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, I was like, dude, this is the worst thing ever.
I just threw them away.
Well, that's good because like I was like, and then I was duped because I was like, oh, you know what? It's in the final area. It's got to do something for me. And then nope.
it's good. It's a good trap.
Don't you have to use the key to get into that? To get the cursed belt? Or is it just in an open area?
I think it's behind a key.
Well, that's even more brutal than...
Yeah, like because I had to like have a magical key to open up the chest, right? I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I didn't do it this time.
Yeah.
Because this time I was like, I know what's in that fucking box. I'm not gonna go near that box.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box? What'd you guys think about the soundtrack?
Oh yeah, we have design. I messed it up on the paperwork. Design's next.
Oh, design.
Yeah, Toriyama.
All right, you know what? Let's talk about the artwork then. So the artwork is done by Akira Toriyama, and he's the artist behind Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Wow, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
And-
Whereas done by the same guy?
Yeah, and Dragon Ball Super now.
Whoa.
Dragon Ball GT was not, though, even though they did it in the same style. There you
I
go.
actually watched all that.
Now you know about Dragon Ball Z.
I have no knowledge of this. I don't watch this.
Wow.
I'm not
You're lame.
affiliated with it.
It wasn't
Lame.
worth it.
No,
I'll just put it like
GT
that.
is terrible. Anyway, so you know what? I remember hearing a story about how they like chose Akira Toriyama, and one of them was like they got him to, they wanted to like kind of figure out a design for, the creatures, and they weren't sure how to do it. And so they had a few artists and Akira Toriyama like make a few sketches for like the slime enemy, because it's like a really common enemy, especially in like old school RPGs.
Would you say it's the most iconic enemy?
The slime for the Dragon Quest series, I would say it's probably the most iconic because like they made a shit ton of stuff with it. Like they made did you see the slime controller that they made specially for 8? Oh, they came out with a slime PS2 controller that's basically just like an upside down slime, and it's got like the face on it and everything.
That's
But
awesome.
it's got like the whole like the control sticks and everything, the buttons and everything, and so you could just like hold this slime as your controller, and it's like pretty sweet. I wanted one, but it was like really expensive.
I like that.
Yeah, but like so they got him to like just make up a couple versions of the slime, and like the one that they have now is like the one that he drew, and that's like they really liked it, like the way that he had that style, and then they're like, yeah, this is what we want, and so they went with that slime, and then like every other creature looks pretty sweet too. It's like distinctly Akira Toriyama. He has a very unique style
that is true, yeah.
Nobody else really has. Whether he's doing like a more serious thing like in Dragon Ball Z, or he's doing the more kind of chibi style that he has for like Dragon Ball, and then for like Dragon Quest and all the enemies in it.
Yeah, I heard that he was able to, and don't exactly quote me on this, but he was more excited to do Dragon Quest because all of his artwork wasn't going to need to be translated into like manga or anime, so he was able to do a lot more detail on the Dragon Quest actual designs.
Yeah, I remember him saying something like that, because he doesn't have to draw them over and over again, so he was able to just do one thing and then it would be fine. So he was able to put more detail into like the like cover art,
and it shows
for some of the stuff, and for some more of some of the creatures.
Do you know if he did the artwork for Dragon Warrior for the NES?
I guarantee not.
No, I don't think he did.
Well, it's awesome either way.
Oh, yes. I agree. That thing is sweet looking.
Yeah. It like makes it seem more epic.
Yeah.
But
what cartridge does it? I mean, take a look at the Tetris NES cover.
Yeah,
and
I
you're
know.
like, yeah.
I know, but you look at that Dragon Warrior NES cover art, and then you look at like the actual art style that's in the game, and it's like vastly different. Like you could not be any more different, and that's why it's like I feel like this is maybe a little deceptive. Because, like, they have other cover art that he actually did, and it's like, you couldn't go with that.
Well, then you got to blame the localization team, because Japan has it right. If you look at those covers, they stick to it.
Whoa, what were some of your favorite monster designs?
It's obviously the slime.
You just love the slime.
I just love the slime.
You love slime time.
Yes. It's so simplistic, but I guarantee you if you go over to Japan and ask them to draw slime, that's exactly what they're going to draw.
Well, Dragon Quest is a lot bigger over there than it is
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the golem.
The golems are sweet.
They are.
That's like, the golems are one of my favorite enemies, actually. And I also kind of like the way that he draws the dragons. Like, it's got a weird kind of
That's what I
design
like.
to it that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I like the dragons.
I don't think there's a single monster in there that I don't like.
Agree. There isn't anything that... the mage.
I don't like the wyverns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's about it, though.
The bat creatures are kind of funny.
they have
the
goofy
werewolves
faces.
are cool.
Each
do
of
like
them
those.
have a play on name with the words.
Yeah, the scare wolves be werewolves.
Yeah.
Then there's they got some sweet ones. The design for like the way that the battles play out, it's just like a first person view. So, I mean, for other games, I don't really like that, but for Dragon Quest, I didn't mind it as much.
It plays into the simplicity that it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it plays into the simplicity, and then you can like focus on the sweet artwork of like the creatures, and like there's even for my version there was like background stuff. Did you get to see background stuff? Because I know a lot of those older ones are just like black.
Yeah,
for,
I
like,
did in my
menus and
version.
stuff. So there was like background stuff.
Yeah, there
Okay.
was.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It had really he does a lot of unique colors for his creatures instead of like having them be like one shade or like barely two shades, something like that.
Yeah,
so
He
the
just
different
goes
variations.
colorful out the wazoo.
yeah, so it's like really bright green for fields and stuff, and then really bright blue, and then red for like the slimes and stuff. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed pretty much everything that Akira Toriyama does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a single thing that he could do that I'd be like, that's shit.
We'll just have to see.
Especially since,
Got a long series ahead of us.
that's true. And, I saw some stuff because 11 is coming out.
Yes.
Soon-ish. Not 100% sure when. But,
Gotta get on that localization, people. Come on.
Those trailers look sweet.
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
Dude, and I cannot wait for it to be on the PS4 because like it's been a while since there's been like a Dragon Quest on a console. I think because 9 was skipped over a console.
Yep.
And it
Yeah, it
took
was
forever for 9 to come out, and then it was on DS. 8, and it was like, oh, okay. So the last one was a PS2 for Dragon Quest 8, which I mean I love, but it's been a while since there's been one on a console.
Well, if it doesn't sell well, I mean, you can't really blame them for not putting them on a huge console like PS3.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, they've been porting every single one to, like, mobile stuff instead of putting them on, they could have put them on, like, the PlayStation Store. They could have put them on PSP when that was, like, a big thing for a while, because it had a pretty decent life, but they never put anything on there for that, and it was basically a Nintendo exclusive for a while.
What was the bigger console, though, in Japan? Was it DS?
DS?
Yeah,
It's not even
DS
close.
was bigger, but the PSP did have a pretty big life.
I figure it's more dependent on that, like what they're doing in Japan.
Yeah, but they
Since it's
still
not
could
as
have
big here.
ported it over and then made some money off of it.
True.
They just chose not to, which kind of seems like a poor decision because they like put every single Final Fantasy up to like 9 on the PSP.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay.
Technically, how so? Because
Oh, well, except for
that's-
3, I guess. They didn't put 3 on there.
It's on the DS, though.
Yeah.
There's you referring to PS1 classics being on the PSP because Is that what
Well,
you're referring to? Because
yeah,
5
like
and
the-
6. Okay,
Yeah. They put 5 and 6 on there.
technically.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, they like could have brought him out and they chose not to, which I feel is a terrible idea, but whatever. Okay, now what do you guys think about the soundtrack?
Not much.
Not much. You don't
Not
feel
much.
much towards it.
I agree.
There's the main theme, and I'd say the ending boss theme.
There's
But
I
it's
think,
only 8 tracks, I believe.
8 tracks for the game, which it's 8 hours, so you get like an hour per track.
And
But you will hear the track for more than an hour.
You will hear a certain amount of tracks for more than an hour.
there'll be a chart of how much this track was played versus the main battle theme.
Yeah,
and
it'll be
it's
just
the
like
Pac-Man pie.
a pie chart, and it's just like
Jesus
the
Christ.
main theme and then battle theme are like the 2 biggest ones.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them though. Like the main theme I can remember pretty well. It's just like they play it in every Dragon Quest game, and
iconic.
it plays pretty much entirely in Dragon Quest Builders, which I played
didn't know
a
that.
huge chunk of
Since I'm new, I didn't know that, so
for the
the main theme, yeah.
Yeah, the main theme. I enjoy that main theme so
Yeah.
much. Like, the other ones are like, I can kind of, remember them because they do play in some of the other Dragon Quest games, but like that main theme is really just like a big one for me.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even notice it.
I think I like it better than probably the Final Fantasy one. Cause like,
Hold
it's
up
like,
now. Hold up.
what do you think? Do you not think it's better?
I don't know yet. I'm going to have to let it sink in.
Cause I feel like,
Because are we comparing the whole, or are we comparing each version across each game? Because I think that's a question to answer for the long term.
That's kind of an unfair question for me too, because I have more experience with Final Fantasy.
well, you know what the Final Fantasy like main theme sounds like,
Which
though.
has
They
varied
they
across
do
each
change
game.
a little bit, but for the most part, they keep it the same.
I couldn't say that about Dragon Quest though, because I'm not as familiar.
Okay, we'll save that for later then. So the soundtrack, pretty solid, 8 tracks. You'll definitely hear the main theme for a good chunk of it.
I think it had the world record, though, at the time.
For having tracks,
Yeah.
I could kind of see that. 1986 having 8 tracks would be a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not really like they can shove a lot of music into a small cartridge
megabyte?
like that. Yeah, like that's kind of impressive. All right, well, what do you guys think about like the legacy of Dragon Quest?
It's legendary, but it's archaic and doesn't hold up that well.
I agree
So
with that.
if you're playing mobile, I'll recommend it, but leave the NES and the other ones in the dust. Don't even bother. Just stick to mobile.
I
I think
that's fair.
as a mobile game, it definitely works better than as like an NES game. Like, I would say that it holds up mostly because it's now on a mobile thing, a mobile platform.
Yeah. Also, its influences carry.
Oh yeah, its
tons of
influences.
games.
Yeah, it like spawned an entire series. We're going to be playing like at least 23 of them that are made it to the US. Like Final Fantasy, for instance, is heavily inspired. Like every RPG pretty much after Dragon Quest is also inspired by Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Said it like they said, it's like set a template for modern RPGs. You like,
Yeah. I'd
like
agree
in
with
the
that.
in the way that they level up and stuff, because like I don't think that was a major thing until Dragon Quest. Yeah, so Dragon Quest like having a lot of influence with like leveling up, more like the music design stuff, like
Music design.
well, the
You
the,
mean
the music,
composing?
the composed music, like having a composer actually do the music.
A real composer.
Yeah, a real composer as opposed to just like making 8-bit sounds for the game.
You hear that, you little chip tune fuckers?
And then
This
just
is
like,
a real orchestra, man. And your little do.
yeah, and then they had like a pretty decent focus on story, I believe, for an earlier game. You know, despite its simplicity, you know. Legend of Zelda was only like a few months earlier, and it has essentially the same story. You know, you go fight the bad guy and save a princess. So
Basically, yeah.
yeah,
One has even more story than Zelda.
Slightly, though.
yeah, it's
At least
like,
there's lore to it.
yeah, they do have like some lore with like there being a previous hero who defeated a great evil, and like, you know, you're the descendant of.
I would say it has more in-game lore, but
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically lore. I mean, you know, you can't, like, if you find lore outside of the game, that's less lore. I
they
believe.
have lore in the manuals, though.
Like,
for
okay,
some
we're
Nintendo
gonna
games.
talk about Destiny for half a second here. If you have to go online
that? Oh, yes.
and fucking look up lore because of the cards you've been gathering that you can't look at in game, that's no longer lore. That stuff does not exist. That is stupid.
It is a secret to everybody, is not lore.
Yeah, so that's I mean, like it being in game and everybody talking about stuff, it's like, oh, hey, you know, most of the people have forgotten about Erdrick, but you know, there's still the sages who like still guard the treasures to help you like along with this quest, because Erdrick knew that you'd probably have to go fight some great evil. And he basically tells you that the first like 5 seconds of the game when you go into that first cave and like talk to the gravestone.
But I want to know, how powerful were those defenders? Like, you don't even question it. And
The sages.
the sages, like, how about you have a battle where if you choose to fight them, they wipe you out? And so you know not to mess with them.
That would be pretty intense, but that would be pointless, because if they can defeat you and you're the hero, then why don't they just do it?
I asked the same thing to myself during Zelda. With the three sages.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Since they're able to seal Ganon, right?
That's true.
yeah.
Ah,
Anyways,
back to Zelda for the 12th time.
yeah. Well, it's a pretty comparable game, I'd say.
I agree with that, yeah. Same time frame, too.
Yeah, it's the same time frame. It got put out on the NES like a year later, though.
Square
But it
block
did-
movement.
but it technically did come out like a few months earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the legacy of this game like reaches like every RPG I would say has had influence from Dragon Quest. It's probably the most influential RPG, I would say. Just
Agreed.
because like everything has pretty much spawned from Dragon Quest, and even it took inspiration from like earlier ones like Wizardry and Ultima, which it like made certain things more complex, like added more of a story, had leveling up, didn't like, and then just by switching to certain things like the battery save like cartridge instead of using the password system that it had when it first came out, stuff like that, and then using like a system where like your stat bonuses depend on like what you name your character, that kind of thing is actually pretty intense for
It's
like
intense, but at the same time, it pisses you off because
well, yeah, if you don't choose the prime name, then like you get screwed. But
So it's a dictatorship.
yeah,
Like, we only take blue-eyed white boys named Titus. Anybody who's named Jamal is going to be a lesser human being.
wow, that we'll just
Social
we'll
justice
just,
warrior over here, man.
okay. Well, anyway, I think that's a pretty cool system. What do you guys think?
I think so, too.
For like, what do you guys think about its legacy though? Like, what do you think its influence has been for like everything?
Something I can think of, like, directly is, like, the Pokemon games.
It's-
Like, the abilities that your Pokemon have are almost exactly the same as the spells that you have in Dragon Quest.
It pretty much is a clone if you look at Red and Blue.
Yeah.
And the caves, you light them up. Instead of
With the
flash,
flash,
you do the
yeah.
torch.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Oh, and then you have that glow spell that allow you
Yeah,
to
that's what I was meaning.
Yeah.
basically
Glows,
like torch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I could see that.
Yeah,
Dragon Quest having an influence on Pokemon.
definitely.
Too bad you can't capture the monsters though. That'd be sweet. Use
Well,
them as a party system.
In this one,
Yeah.
we'll be getting a monster soon.
Yeah, that'll be great. I actually would enjoy playing a Pokemon style game with Dragon Quest monsters.
Yeah.
Although the only thing that I think I would have to say I don't like is that in older RPGs and even newer ones, like I don't like that they reuse enemy models and then just change the color.
Oh yeah.
That bugs the crap out of me. I don't know, like, I feel like they could just make more enemies. I feel like that's a thing that could happen. But it's like,
Well, what's easier?
dude,
Changing the color or
okay,
making
obviously,
a new enemy?
okay, but like, think about a recent offense that I could think of for this is when I tried to replay Final Fantasy 13.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I feel like there's only 5 different monsters in that game. Like, literally, there's only like 5 different ones. They're just like slightly changed in one way or like slightly colored differently. Like, but they're the same monster. Like, the exact same monster. I'm like,
so metal
what?
slime.
Well, okay, yeah, but there's that like they do it in Dragon Quest. I'm saying that. And it's
Yeah.
like that's the one thing that I could be like, well, okay, I don't really like that about this game. Because like I would like to see more Akira Toriyama designed monsters instead of just being like, oh, hey, here's a recolored werewolf or here's a recolored bat thing. Here's a recolored slime. You know, just because like they're the better version.
You couldn't pay Toriyama like $2 more to design another one.
Yeah, it's just like a different sort of thing. I mean, they do in later Dragon Quest games, they do add way more monsters and then they keep like the older ones as well. But I would still like to have seen more because I feel like there's not that many in this game because there's like that wizard dude.
Ugh,
There's
the mage.
There's the snail thing, the slime, the bats, the dragon, the golem, and then the chimera. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
And the werewolf. Did I mention that already?
Did you guys have that dark warrior guy?
Oh yeah,
skeleton.
and the
What a
the
bitch.
skeleton and the warriors. So there's like 10 monsters.
Okay.
10 different monsters which have like different colorings, and then there's the final boss. So a total of basically 11 monsters.
But that's a lot for a NES game.
Yeah, I know it's a lot for an NES game, but it still feels like there could have been more. Like, more to it, at least. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with you.
It's like, it just feels, 10 monsters, and then they recolor them like 3 times.
That's
For mixed bag, for the emphasis in putting you in first person to see the creature, it makes sense on how there's only 11 and you kind of want more.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, because
it
yeah.
kind of puts it on display.
Yeah, especially with the first person, because you're like in later Dragon Quest, you're fighting more monsters at a time, but in this one, it's a 1v1 fight always, and it like puts a small picture frame, at least around for us, a small picture frame around that one monster, and since it's like framing that monster, you want to have like more variety, and when they only change the color up a little bit, that's kind of like, oh, okay.
It also doesn't help that you run into the same monsters over and over again while you're grinding.
Yeah, and like that's since it's a really grind heavy game, and then it only being like basically 30 monsters that are just recolored one monster like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I would like to see something different.
Well, maybe we will.
All right, so I think that's it for the Dragon Quest review.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
All right, well, I honestly can't wait to get to the next games in the series.
Yes.
Are you excited to continue the series, Dylan?
Of course.
Yeah?
This was an enjoyable game.
Yeah, you enjoyed it
I had a good
despite the rage of the grind.
Even though it was a grind fest, it was still enjoyable for
Okay.
the most part.
We only go up from here. We only go up.
It does seem to improve from the 5 minutes that I played of Dragon Quest II.
Yeah. So I think we will record that episode when we're ready. I don't think we've pinned down an official schedule yet. We'll finish them when we finish them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that out.
But as
outside of
far
the
as
show.
playing them, I believe we're going to do every English release, right?
Yes, every single English release. English release, because there's like what 23 games
Something like
that we
that.
counted, something like that. It's the main series, and then just like the side ones like Dragon Quest Heroes, Dragon Quest Builders, the Joker series, Monsters, Swords, which was for like the Wii.
Yeah.
That you reminded me of because I totally forgot that game existed.
eBay, $3. There's our plug, eBay again.
Yeah, I kind of want to play those games. And then every like the first couple of the Dragon Quest games, like they're made in like trilogies. So like the 1, 2, and 3 are a trilogy. 4, 5, and 6 are another trilogy. And I don't know if we want to like maybe mix it up and play a side game in between. We'll talk about that, but I think that's what we're gonna do. Have the first 3 games released, and then we'll have that.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode.
All right. You can tweet me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at DROM Media.
And me at Wandering Flame.
Wow, that's such a gay name.
Well, yes. Yes. Blame Final Fantasy X. Blame Final Fantasy
That was in
X for
Final
them.
Fantasy X?
One of the tracks, Titus's theme is called Wandering Flame.
Oh, I stand by what I said. That's pretty gay.
Yes, it is.
All
It's a
right.
beautiful track. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. All right, so sign-offs. I'm still going to do keep it super and keep it sexy. Super sexy will not die.
Dude, it's dead. Just accept it.
No.
Accept its death.
Keep it super and keep it sexy.
It's dead.